either. So I did the math. Took the last numbers we have, 2012. They spent on salaries and benefits $50.5 billion. We called them, found out how many employees. There are 629,000 employees. Tim, that means each employee on average gets $80,286 per year. Those are the current employees. Forget the ones that they're paying in pensions. Could they survive paying these kind of salaries?
Well, again, if you had kept the volume from 1985 of email, they probably could have. But it's the same problems that a lot of governments, state governments, but also some big industries ran into, such as Detroit, where they're paying these pensions as if these heydays are going to last forever. And they're imagining they're never going to get competition because they had these laws protecting them from mail competition. But then something called email comes along, and all of a sudden they have much cheaper competition, and they can't keep affording to pay the pensions. And it's always the pensions, much more than the salaries. It's the pensions and benefits that do an organization.
You know, Tim, they're going to put about $16 billion on the taxpayer. Now, the left likes to say, no, it's not the taxpayer because it's not a taxpayer. It's not on budget. But here's what happens. The Postal Service has a letter of credit with the Treasury. So they go to the Treasury and say, I need $16 billion to pay my bills this year. They give it to them, and the Postal Service gives the Treasury, us, taxpayer, an IOU. If the Postal Service defaults, who's going to be on the hook for all this money? Year after year of billions.
Well, obviously, eventually, the taxpayers are going to end up forgiving the debt. That's what's going to happen, is we're going to forgive the debt, and we're never going to get that money back that we sent over to the Postal Service. And I'd be happy to forgive the debt if they went ahead and they said, let private companies compete. Or maybe you make the Postal Service just be like welfare, have them only deliver to poor rural parts of the country where the private guys can't make a profit. And that way their losses would be minimized, and we would know that we're not funding some quasi-business, but we're basically funding something that's providing some sort of welfare type service.
All right, Tim Carney, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.